Hey guys, Aaron CybertronVGC here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Ranked, where I climb the online regulation H VGC ladder in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and provide live commentary as I go. In this video, I'm going to be featuring a team that I actually previously fought against on Road to Ranked, and this team reached rank number 1 on the Pokemon Showdown ladder, as well as rank number 5 on the in-game ladder. It's a really fun team that features Ribombee for support, paired with special attackers like Throat Spray, Primarina, Life Orb Ursaluna Bloodmoon, and Choice Specs Gholdengo. The team also has Gothitelle, which is really valuable for trapping your opponents in and synergizes really nicely with Parasong on Primarina. As always, I'll do a quick breakdown of the team, but if you want to just skip to the battles, check out the timestamps down below, and thanks so much as always for joining me. If you enjoy, I'd really appreciate if you consider leaving a like in the video or subscribing to the channel. It really helps out a ton. I can't wait to feature Ribombee in particular, so let's dive right into things. If you're interested in trying out the team, the rental code is on the screen, and there's also an accompanying Pokepaste down in the description below. This team revolves around enabling really powerful special attackers in Primarina, Ursaluna, and Gholdengo. You can use either Tailwind to enable them or Trick Room, and the fun thing about these Pokemon is that they can operate under both depending on what your opponent has. Ribombee, as I mentioned, is one of the primary reasons why I'm interested in this team. With that Shield Dust and with Gholdengo, you can be completely immune to fake out flinches if you lead Ribombee plus Gholdengo, allowing you to just pressure with something like Tailwind plus Choice Specs Steel Terra Make It Rain immediately. Gothitelle here has Shadow Attack to trap your opponents in, which synergizes really nicely with Parasong from Primarina, and because this team can pick up knockouts so quickly, you'll often find yourself getting 1 or 2 early knockouts and then just ending the game with Parasong from Primarina. The Incineroar on this team is also a little bit more offensive, as you have Flare Blitz as well as Protect. Protect is a big surprise move that can catch your opponents off guard, and as well, of course, is really valuable in endgames when you set up that Parasong with Primarina. Breaking down the Pokemon, first of all, a huge thank you to Young and Maya for building and sharing this team. It was really fun to fight against it on Road to Ranked. If you want to see that video, I'll link it down in the description below with the right timestamp. I was drawn to this team because it has Ribombee, and I was fascinated by it. I had no idea what it did until I started using this team myself. Ribombee is a really interesting Tailwind user. It feels similar to Whimsicott, of course, because you're both fairy typing and you are fast and you get access to moves like Tailwind, Moonblast, and Fake Tears. But I think what makes Ribombee really cool is, first of all, it is even faster than Whimsicott, and second of all, you get access to Pollen Puff. Now, you obviously don't have Prankster, so you have to be careful, but with Shield Dust and with Focus Sash, it's honestly pretty hard to deny Ribombee a Tailwind to start the game. Pollen Puff is what I think really makes Ribombee stand out often to me, because it allows you to not only heal your teammates, but it actually does really meaningful damage as well. Normally when people see Pollen Puff, it's coming from something like a Moongus, which is mainly meant to just heal its teammates. But with Ribombee being Bug and Fairy typing, you get the same type attack bonus on both Pollen Puff and Moonblast, and Pollen Puff does so much damage to something like Rillaboom, for example. And so you also have the element of surprise when using this Pokemon. I've had opponents who just straight up click Fake Out into it because they don't know about Shield Dust, right? When you're using a Pokemon with low usage rates, your opponents generally will be a little bit more surprised to fight against it, right? And so, yeah, I think this is just a really cool Pokemon, and it synergizes so nicely with Gholdengo. This is a standard Choice Specs Gholdengo, max special attack, max speed. It's just meant to hit as hard as possible. And Ribombee plus Gholdengo is one of the most threatening leads with this team because you can just immediately go for Tailwind, Steel Terra, Make It Rain. Often opponents aren't going to click Fake Out into Ribombee because of Shield Dust, and with Gholdengo being Ghost typing, they'll often obviously try not to Fake Out into Gholdengo either unless they're making a really crazy prediction. So what that allows you to do is just deal massive amounts of damage immediately. Against Pokemon that you're already faster against, Ribombee can just simply go for Fake Tears, drop your opponent's special defense, and allow Gholdengo to pick up knockouts. So this is a really powerful combination in itself. You have 2 other really powerful special attackers in Primarina as well as Ursaluna. By the way, these Pokemon have some speed investment, right? So Primarina here is going to outspeed max speed Garchomp, and everything slower than that when the Tailwind is set up. So keep that in mind, because it means even when you have Tailwind set up, Primarina is still going to be slower than some of the fastest Pokemon in the format. Ursaluna here has enough speed investment to outspeed max speed Mousehold, which is going to be important against Mousehold plus Annihilate, and everything slower than that. So those are 2 important speed benchmarks to remember. Otherwise, pretty straightforward. This Primarina is Throat Spray with Dragon Terra, and you've got Hyper Voice, Moonblast, Parasong. What's really cool about the Primarina here is both Hyper Voice and Parasong will activate your Throat Spray, right? And so often you're going to be clicking Hyper Voice. Normally when you click Parasong, you kind of want to just end the game with it. But what's really fun about this team is you can pick up knockouts really quickly because you have Life Orb Ursaluna with Normal Terra and Steel Terra Gholdengo. So For example, I often find myself going Ribombee, Gholdengo, Tailwind, make it rain, pick up 1 KO, they bring something else out, Fake Tears, make it rain, get another knockout, and then suddenly I can just click Parasong and end the battle. Dragon Terra, really nice on Primarina defensively. It allows you to resist electric and grass type attacks, which normally people are going to go into with Primarina with. Ursaluna, also fairly straightforward here. The main thing to know is that you've got some special defense bulk, and of course, you are very invested in speed here. Once again, that's to outspeed the max speed mouse holds. To round out the team, you've got Gothitelle plus Incineroar. Now, Gothitelle is really interesting. This is a Mental Orb set, so obviously it helps out a ton against taunt users, and the idea is that this can trap opponents in. Trapping Pokemon in is super valuable, of course, and if you are able to trap physical attackers in, Incineroar can intimidate them, and then they just don't feel very powerful, right? And the idea is with Gothitelle, it synergizes really nicely thanks to the Parasol and Primarina. Of course, one thing you can do is, for example, go for Parasol immediately, get the Gothitelle out, and then just stall things out by going for Fake Out, Damage, Double Protect, and then switch, for example, and then Parasol will just pick up knockouts, right? So this synergizes really nicely. Gothitelle, of course, is an effective Trick Room user as well, and Psychic does meaningful damage into a lot of the format. Protect is really necessary, I think, on Gothitelle so that you can, bypass attacks as opponents try to KO you. Often, people will feel the pressure, try to double up on a Gothitelle, and a Protect can obviously just stall things out pretty significantly. You also have offensive Incineroar, which I think is really smart on this team. Now, most Incineroars these days are just so invested in HP and bulk, but with max attack, you just do so much damage with Flare Blitz and Knockoff, a lot more than opponents will generally anticipate. Flare Blitz is really, really valuable. I think a lot of times people just don't respect Flare Blitz on Incineroar as much anymore because for so long, a lot of people have been dropping Flare Blitz, but in this format, back in Reg Age, I think it makes a ton of sense, and this combo just does so much damage, right? People normally don't expect to get like one-hit KO'd by Incineroar on a lot of Pokemon, and this just helps out a ton, especially against Pokemon like Gholdengo, for example. Of course, you have Fake Out Pressure still, and Protect exists, which can also capture opponents off guard. This gives you also another way to just slowly stall out Parasong if you go for that as a late game win condition. So, in terms of ways to play with the team, I first ask myself, do I want to commit to Trick Room or Tailwind? Because often you'll want to rely on one of the two means of speed control, because Primarina, Ursaluna, and Gholdengo are all in that awkward speed tier where they're not going to be outspeeding that many Pokemon. So I look at my opponent's team and I determine, okay, do I want to commit to Tailwind or Trick Room? If it's Tailwind, then I'll often lead Ribombee, and Ribombee can be led with Primarina, Ursaluna, or Gholdengo. And honestly, Incineroar as well, since it's offensive Incineroar on this team. But I often like Ribombee and Gholdengo the most because you have the immunity to Fake Out, which is a really big deal. If you want to go with Trick Room, you can consider leads like Incineroar plus Gothitelle, or really Gothitelle with any of the attackers. I'd say Gothitelle Ribombee is probably the combo I go with least, just because these are both pretty passive. Just keep in mind that if you lead Goth with attackers like, the Ursaluna, Primarina, and Gholdengo, you're putting yourself at risk of just getting outsped and knocked out immediately, whereas Insane Goth, I think, is a little bit more consistent of the lead because you have Fake Out into Trick Room pressure immediately. So those are just some ways to consider using the team. So in terms of things to watch out for, I think the first thing to note is that with Ribombee, even though you are really fast, there are still some Pokemon that can outpace you in this format, and you also have to worry about something like Fake Out plus Priority knocking out the Ribombee, because there is no Protect on Ribombee. So for example, I had one opponent who was really smart, had a Sneasler and Dragapult lead, and just went Fake Out Shadow Ball, and they were able to knock out Ribombee. Fake Out, of course, will still do damage. Shield Dust prevents the flinching effect, but Fake Out can be used to break the Focus Sash. So that's one thing to watch out for. You also don't have Protect on Ribombee and Gholdengo, so leading this means that you are vulnerable on turn 1. Gholdengo, of course, is going to be really weak to fire and ground type attacks because you don't have a defensive Terra around that, so you really want to keep that in mind, and this Gholdengo has no bulk, and so if you go for a Terra, for example, you will be vulnerable to fighting later on, as well as the other types that I had already mentioned. I think one of the things that you have to generally watch out for with this team is to just pay attention to the speeds, right? Primarina, Ursaluna, Gholdengo, like, they all really value getting the Tailwind or the Trick Room setup, but you have to spend a turn to actually set up that speed control, right? And for Gothitelle in particular, you have to be really careful about opposing Ghost-type Pokemon that can switch out of your Shadow tag. You also have to worry about Dark-type Pokemon. I played against an opponent who had a really well-played King Gambit, for example, with Swords Dance, and once they were able to Swords Dance up, I was caught into a really tricky position as well. Otherwise, for example, Ursaluna, Primarina, you really have to be worried about Grass-type attacks. Obviously, you have Dragon Terra on Primarina to get around it, but if you commit your Terra somewhere else, then you could become even more vulnerable to Grass-type attacks, especially from something like Assault Vest Rillaboom. And because this team generally indexes really heavily on special damage, it only has one physical attacker in Incineroar. You have to be careful around special attackers that are already really, or special Pokemon in general that have really high special defense stats, especially with Assault Vest, for example, with Light Screen, with ways to decrease our special attack like Snarl, for example. Those are all things that can cause some trouble. Okay, we've got Basculegion, Incineroar, Chandelure, Bronzong, and the Glimmora here. Interesting. Double Ghost, which isn't great for Goth. Chandelure, Bronzong both could theoretically reverse Trick Room or set up Trick Room. I think I don't mind Ribombee. Ribombee Primarina is intriguing to me in this one because we can just Terra Primarina, but like the main thing is I'm worried about the fake out leads from their end, right? So Ribombee Gholdengo is just such a good lead. Primarina. Ursaluna does do so much damage here. I don't hate Incin in this one, though. Flare Blitz and Knockoff hit 4 of their 6 for super effective. And it gives me a better Rillaboom answer. I think I just feel a little uncomfortable when I don't bring Ursaluna, or sorry, when I don't bring Incineroar, because then Rillaboom's damage output just suddenly skyrockets, and it's already something that's pretty good into our comp. So, let's see. I think in this, yeah, basically, like, when playing with this team, as I've mentioned, the main thing I first ask myself is, do I want to commit to Goth or Ribombee? Incin plus the Glimmora lead. Okay, works for me. What do I want to do here? I have to say, I'm kind of intrigued by, like, Fake Tears into Incineroar. Yeah, like Fake Tears into this. Steel Terra, make it rain. I'm down. Because, like, Glimora's really threatened right now, right? The best you could do is either launch, like, a Meteor Beam or Sludge Bomb into the Ribombee. I also, of course, could have gone for Power Gem here. But I think, like, the Make It Rain is so powerful. Also, by going for Steel Terra, it means if you're going for Knockoff, it's fine. It's just mainly Flare Blitz that would scare my Gholdengo right now. Okay, so we're just going to send it here. We go for Spiky Shield, that's fine. We get Fake Tears off. Okay. And now Make It Rain. So Choice Spec, Steel Terra boosted. Let's see how much special defense investment you have with Incineroar. Oh. I love this combination. And it's like pretty safe to go for that. The only thing that I am vulnerable to would be like a crazy read of Fake Out into Gholdengo on turn 1, but this is why this lead is so effective, right? It just ignores the turn 1 Fake Out, which is so nice. So they bring out Glimmora now. Can continue to launch Make It Rain. We've got Incin plus Primarina in the back, so like late game Trick Room is already looking really effective. I think I'm happy to launch Make It Rain here. And do I want Moonblast Make It Rain? Fake Tears Make It Rain? What would they switch into? I mean, I would think Rillaboom is their last one personally. I'm down for Pollen Puff here, which also breaks a potential Sash. Oh, they just go for a double. Okay, they're trying to set up Trick Room right now, but yeah, we should just get the knockout into Glimmora now. Sweet. And they set up Trick Room, but now I just pivot in Incident Primarina and just click Perish Song. Is that a crit on Bronzong? Okay, I was like, yeah, there's no way at -1 we're doing that much damage. Cool. No one ever expects their Incineroar to faint to a Gholdengo, but we just pulled it off. So Trick Room goes up. I think that play makes a lot of sense for my opponent. Like, you're already so far behind, so you might as well just take the chance to go for a double protect. Because otherwise, if you let something in that slot just go down, the game's probably immediately over. So, yeah. I think that was definitely the right play from them to make. It's Basculegion as the last one. Okay, Basculegion does have comeback potential here. Yeah, this isn't over yet, actually, because I can't click Fake Out into this. I want to switch an Incineroar. Okay, I'm gonna pivot Ribombee out for Incin here. And then click Make It Rain. Gholdengo's really accomplished what I've needed to do in this game, which is just spread a lot of damage. But yeah, I mean, they have late game Basculegion out now, which I think is really scary. The good thing is we can pivot Incin out and back in. Yep, Heavy Slam into that slot. Probably Last Respects now. Yep. Oh, cool. We even survived that. Nice. So I just get another Make It Rain off. Sweet. Both survive, but that's fine. One turn of Trick Room down. I think here I don't mind going for Fake Out into you and Make It Rain. Or I could Protect. Actually, I'd rather pivot out and back in so I can get Incineroar out again. So I'll bring in Ribombee here and click Make It Rain again. Because I think, like, we should wall Bronzong with the Gholdengo, right? So we switch. Ribombee comes in. Oh, Terra finally comes out. I wonder if it's, like, Water Terra Basculegion to try to snipe off Incineroar. Because they didn't feel like choice band damage to me. It's going to be Dark Terra. Okay. Well, now Primarina just has Hyper Voice for super effective damage. Body press into the Ribombee slot. Nice. Last Respects here in the Gholdengo. Cool. Gholdengo faints, but now I just get to bring Incineroar back out. Great. Primarina can just end the game with Moonblast against the Basculegion. 2 turns of Trick Room left. So I don't mind going for... Oh, we have Moonblast here, actually. So, oh, but they have... Wait, Gyro Ball? You're at -2, though. Even if you Gyro Ball me, I can just double protect the last turn. So, yeah, actually, I'm down a Fake Out plus Moonblast. Into... I mean, Dark Basculegion's really interesting. But it allows you to obviously resist Dark-type attacks, so that makes sense. Unless this is something crazy like Covert Cloak, which I wouldn't expect it to be. Because Covert Cloak would be really odd. There's Fake Out. Heavy Slam. Nice. We survived with 6. Cool. And Moonblast should get the knockout. Beautiful. But yeah, I think we obviously just surprised our opponent completely with this turn 1 play, right? And built up a big enough lead where even with Trick Room setup, bringing Incin was huge here for Intimidate, right? Because both of these attackers actually have a lot of physical damage. So yeah, now we can just Pollen Puff and Flare Blitz. But we got to do one of the most satisfying things that you can do with this team, which is that combo. And I do wonder if they got the double protect off, how differently this game would look. Because with me committing Steel Terra, they would have been able to body press my Gholdengo, which would have been pretty scary. And I think, yeah, like the combination of Bronzong and Basculegion under Trick Room is actually quite tough to deal with. But Flare Blitz comes out now and delivers the finishing blow. So, yeah. Either way, I think it's so satisfying for Gholdengo to get a one-hit knockout onto Incineroar. I think that is not a KO you'll see very often in this format, but it's something that you can do with this team that feels so, so good. Okay, we have a familiar team. This is the very first team that I featured in Regulation H. It won a big tournament, one of the largest tournaments to kick off Regulation H before the format officially started in September. And we've got a couple of obvious combos in Maushold Annihilate, Pelipper Archaludon, Maushold plus Archaludon, and then Incineroar plus the Sinistcha are just really good to sustain the bulky members of the team. So if you want to see me play with the team that my opponent's using, check out the video link down in the description below. So this is interesting because we can use Ribombee, I think, for speed control. One of the things to think about with this team is, do I prefer Ribombee or Gothitelle? And I think I like Ribombee more here, because with Ribombee plus Gholdengo, there's no way to get around something like Tailwind plus Make It Rain on turn 1, which is really powerful. So I think in this one I might go Ribombee, Gholdengo, Primarina plus Ursaluna Bloodmoon and just go max offense. Incineroar is not really that valuable here since Annihilape has Defiant. We don't have Will-O-Wisp on this either. And I think Gothitelle is just honestly quite weak into Maushold plus Annihilape, right? You have Taunt Pressure. I don't think Trapping Archaludon is really that valuable either. Sinistcha could switch out thanks to its Ghost typing. Incineroar has Parting Shot. So, yep, let's go with this. I think Ribombee plus Gholdengo, Ribombee plus Primarina, Ribombee plus Ursaluna Bloodmoon are all really powerful options with this team. For this one, I don't mind just going for something like Tailwind and then Steel Terra Make It Rain on turn 1. And then we have Fake Tears Pressure going into the subsequent turn. The main thing to think about is I think like a Pelipper Archaludon lead, for example. If they go Pelipper Archaludon, we could go something like Fake Tears plus Shadow Ball. But it's going to be Incineroar plus Pelipper. Okay, I don't mind that. Cool. Incin plus Pelipper. We have Shield Dust here, which is obviously going to be very helpful. We have really good Incineroar answers in the back, so I think I lean towards doubling up onto Pelipper on turn 1. Just going for Moonblast onto it. The question is what move I would like to lock into with Gholdengo. Power Gem isn't bad, because then we can hit Incineroar next turn. Yeah, I'm going to double up on Peli here. Okay. Get Moonblast off. Beautiful. It's a ton of damage and gets a special attack drop. And Power Gem will just finish things off. At Pelipper here is Focus Sash, so of course we have super effective Thunderbolt, but we want to double up to make sure we get that KO. Great. And they're going to go for knockoff here into Gholdengo. Okay, that's fine by me. So removes the choice specs, but I think we're off to a really strong start because we now can set up Tailwind. And I have Ursaluna plus Primarina in the back, and both are really, really strong offensively against my opponent's team. So it's interesting to see Incineroar Pelipper. I think like the opposing team generally likes to go for one of the 3 main combos in Maushold Annihilate, Maushold Archaludon, or Pelipper Archaludon. I think Incin Pelipper is actually pretty strong here, just to like disrupt me a little bit in the early game. But Ribombee still has its Focus Sash attack. We still have Tailwind pressure. We still have Fake Tears pressure. Like this next one, I can just go for Fake Tears plus really any attack from the Gholdengo. Annihilape is going to come out here. So I think with that, I'm happy to click Tailwind this turn and just go for a Shadow Ball into the Annihilape slot. I think here they could, of course, go for Protect with the Annihilape, knock out the Gholdengo. They could Terra with the Annihilape, maybe go for Bulk Up, for example. But the good thing here is with speed control pressure with Tailwind, Ursaluna or Primarina just get to come out and put out so much damage afterwards. My opponent also set up that rain with the Pelipper, right? So like, let's say you Terra the Annihilape right now, well then Incineroar can't Terra, and then Hyper Voice is just so strong, right? Fake Tears plus Pollen Puff is a pretty nasty combo here as well, so Annihilape will opt to Protect here, that's fine. We'll get Tailwind up successfully. And of course I could go for Power Gem here, but I don't mind forcing a Protect out of Annihilape this turn. So Shadow Ball will fail, but if they KO Gholdengo, honestly, it's a free switch into the Ursaluna or Primarina. Ursaluna could just normal Terra Bloodmoon, right? They're actually going to offer Parting Shot here. One other thing to think about is that Ribombee is actually pretty good offensively into Annihilape as well, right? So now I can just go for Fake Tears plus Make It Rain or Shadow Ball this next turn. Ribombee still hasn't even taken damage yet, which is pretty awesome. So it's going to be Maushold to come out. Okay, that makes sense. Let's see. I have Tailwind now. I mainly want to deny Beat Up. I think like this going for Terra certainly makes sense. I think I want to go for Fake Tears in a Maushold. I'm not confident I'll KO without Terra. So the play I'm leaning towards is Fake Out, Steel Terra, Make It Rain. Because I don't think I need Terra, Primarina, or Ursaluna in this endgame. The idea here is to just eliminate Maushold. Now, one play they could make here is to just simply protect Maushold and then knock out the Gholdengo with the Rage Fist. But even if they do that, I think it's fine because then I just get a free switch it into Primarina or Ursaluna. I can continue clicking Fake Tears. So this might seem like a weird Terra, but without choice specs, I just want to guarantee the knockout onto the Maushold slot. Okay, they're going to Terra here. Should be Annihilape going for Terra. The Maushold on the opposing team is Ghost Terra, so it doesn't really change much, but it should be Water Terra here. Yep. It's fine by me. Okay. Beautiful. They don't protect with the Mouse Hold, so we get Fake Tears off. Awesome. And Gholdengo gets the Make It Rain with Steel Terra now. Perfect, and that eliminates Mouse Hold. Awesome. One thing to think about now is that, like, you've committed your Terra to the Annihilate, right? So both Ursaluna and Primarina will just absolutely crush the Annihilate from this point onwards. And they're actually going to launch Rage Fist here into the Ribombee slot, which is fine by me. Brings us down pretty low. We heal back up. Cool. And then Incineroar obviously comes out for my opponent. I think the main thing to think about here is whether or not I want to consider switching out the Ribombee, because they can obviously fake out into us right now, and that might just be enough to KO us. Still 2 turns of Tailwind and Rain. Like, here I'm leaning towards switching in Primarina, and the main reason for this is because I want to get a second Tailwind up in this game. So switch into Primarina and just Thunderbolt into Annihilate is what I'm thinking right now. We also have Perish Song, by the way, so actually I think we can just win the game with Perish Song if we survive this turn. Although one thing to think about is I don't have Protect on Ribombee or the Gholdengo, it's just Ursaluna with Protect. So it might actually be better to just end the game by pure damage. Either way, here's Primarina. Oh, okay. Annihilate just goes for Protect. That's fine by me. Thunderbolt will go into the Protect here. And it's funny, them removing the choice specs actually gave us a lot of flexibility in what move I could click. Knock off into Gholdengo. Okay, cool. Works for me. Yeah, the question here is, do I want to go for the Perish Song route? Because I think we can just go with pure offense here. Right, Annihilate just protected, so now I can just bring out Ursaluna and just go for Bloodmoon. Last turn of Tailwind and Rain. So I'm down to go for a Moonblast into Annihilate and Bloodmoon into it. The only risk here is the double protect, I suppose, from their end. But the other question is, do you feel comfortable leading into that double protect? Because, of course, Incineroar is threatened by both of my Pokemon here. So they might be thinking, hey, my way of winning this is surviving, you know, one attack from your end. Yeah, normally I would click Perish Song, but the inability to protect... well, actually, we have Protect on Primarina and Ursaluna, so maybe Perish Song is fine. But, okay, Bloodmoon actually just gets the one-hit knockout there, so nice. I just went for Moonblast in case, like, Annihilate was going to be bulky enough to survive, because, like, obviously it resists Hyper Voice. But either way, like, Incineroar is never really doing very much for my opponent in this end game. So, there's Moonblast. And they're going to Parting Shot into us, yeah. I think the main thing here is that when you bring Incin and Mouse Hold, like, you need to really rely on damage from both Pelipper and the Annihilate, right? I was also kind of surprised to see Pelipper here, but I think it makes sense because it can resist Gholdengo, right? And Primarina's attacks. So now we can just Hyper Voice and Earth Power here. And Earth Power should just get the knockout. Cool. But yeah, like, Ribombee Gholdengo as a lead is just so effective, right? Especially thanks to Shield Dust on the Ribombee. And so being able to just eliminate Pelipper immediately was great. I think the scary thing in this game is if my opponent went for Protects at any point, right? Like, if Pelipper had protected when I doubled up into it, if Mouse had protected when I went for the Fake Tear, Steel Terra, Make It Rain. But in both of those situations, I thought it was actually fairly unlikely Protect would come out because I didn't think my opponent would actually feel super threatened. But Ribombee was awesome for us in this game, right? It was able to just break Focus Sash and deal so much damage to Pelipper. It was able to set up Tailwind for us. It was able to Fake Tears to enable Gholdengo. And then, yeah, you just have so much offense between Primarina, Ursaluna, and Gholdengo. Okay, we've got Mousehold and Annihilate with Ursaluna, Volcarona, Weavile, and Murkrow. Given that they have Tailwind, I'm thinking we might want to go with Trick Room with Gothitelle. But my main fear with Trick Room is if they just lead Mousehold and Annihilate, I think. Primarina looks really good offensively here. Don't think I really want to bring in Incineroar. I don't know. Ribombee Gholdengo could still work here. It's just Murkrow being a major problem. If I lead Gothitelle plus Gholdengo, the problem is if they lead Mousehold and Annihilate, because they could Ghost Terra Mousehold to avoid Fake Out from Gothitelle. Is there ever a world in which I bring Tailwind and Trick Room? Thinking about that. Okay, I still will go Ribombee Gholdengo here. I really want to bring Trick Room, but I think in best of one, like the problem is leading Gothitelle into Mouse Ape is really weak. Yeah. So, like, I feel very much compelled to bring Ribombee Gholdengo because it pressures Mouse Ape with Tailwind, Steel Terra, Make It Rain. I think if Annihilate gets the Rage Fist stacks off, it becomes really scary really quickly. I guess one of the things to consider would have been leading something like Gothitelle plus Ursaluna Bloodmoon, but in my opinion, like, even if they bring Tailwind with Murkrow, it's not the end of the world for us. We'll just think about maybe staggering our Tailwind with Ribombee, right? Like, instead of going for Tailwind on turn 1, go for something like Fake Tears, try to get a double KO with Steel Terra, Make It Rain. It is Mousehold Annihilate. Okay, great. This is exactly why I led Ribombee Gholdengo. Okay. So the play I want to make here is simply click Tailwind, Steel Terra, Make It Rain. And the logic here is basically when you face against Mousehold plus Annihilate, like the scariest thing that they could do, of course, is go for Beat Up to stack up Rage Fist immediately, right? So if I go for this play, then Tailwind will instantly give me the speed boost to outspeed the Mousehold, and then Mousehold will just feint to Steel Terra, Make It Rain. Annihilate obviously is going to take a lot of damage as well, so it's normally forced to defensively Terra to get around this. As looks like it will, which is fine by me. Now, the best option for my opponent would be to, say, go for Protect with the Mousehold, but if they do that, then the next turn I can just go for Fake Tears, right? So it's going to be Steel Terra here on the Annihilate. A lot of different viable Terras on Annihilate, I would say. And Mousehold does Protect. Okay, so nicely done by my opponent here. Still fine, though. We'll get Tailwind, and then, more importantly, next turn I can just go for Fake Tears plus Make It Rain into that slot. But I think this was basically the perfect counterplay for my opponent on turn 1 for my specific play. That being said, I still don't regret going for it. Like, there's not really any better option in my opinion. And Steel Terra on Annihilate also kind of unexpected. Still a ton of damage onto Annihilate there. Wow. Nice. And they're just going to Rage Fist into us. Yep, that's fine. Cool. So I do have Fake Tears. I'm actually thinking about just clicking Fake Tears into Annihilate and Make It Rain, given how much they just took from that. Obviously, they might just go for Follow Me here, but that would be fine. Yeah, it's tempting. It would activate Defiant, obviously, but that's okay, since it was almost a 2-hit KO anyway. Okay, I'm down. Fake Tears, Make It Rain here. And they don't go for Follow Me. Wow. Okay, huge. So that'll activate Defiant, but it's okay, because the idea is we should just KO them with Make It Rain now. Great. Even at -1, we still destroyed the Mousehold as well. So we're up 4-2 immediately, and Ribombee's Focus Sash is still intact. That's amazing. Wow, feels good. Now, from my opponent's perspective, probably didn't go for Follow Me because, like, they're thinking, well, what do I even really need to redirect from the Ribombee, right? So, it's Volcarona coming out now, I believe. Yep. And what's their last one? Weavile. Oh, cool. Okay, so they did also not bring speed control into this one. They just dropped Murkrow outright, which is obviously very nice for us. I do want to look for a Perish Song endgame now, I think. Yeah. I think this turn we can just go for Moonblast onto the Weavile slot and switch out into Primarina. Yeah, I think like one of the things with this team is when you build up an early lead, Perish Song just becomes such an immediate win condition. The reality is that we have so much good damage here as well, but I think I don't mind Perish Song because Volcarona is probably going to want to Quiver Dance up, but it can't really get one-hit knockouts onto us. I could have actually just attacked here with Gholdengo probably, as they end up not going for Fake Out with Weavile here. But next turn we can just KO them. They're going to go for Knockoff onto Ribombee, that's fine. Quiver Dance, I would think. Maybe just Heat Wave. Okay, fine by me. Yeah, I think like Primarina is now in such a good defensive position. So with that, I am happy to just bring out the Gholdengo. We still have 1 turn of Tailwind left right now. Cool. We do have Power Gem here, which would KO the Volcarona. They could protect their Pokemon right now. Like, I think the double protect would make sense, but I don't mind going for Power Gem into Parasong, I think. Yeah. Okay, Volcarona protects. That's fine. I'm assuming that means Weavile's attacking this turn. Oh, they go for Ice Shard just to try to get some chip damage. Okay, works for me. Cool. And this is one of the cool interactions. Gholdengo actually isn't affected by Parasong either. So keep that interaction in mind. And another fun interaction is, yeah, Throat Spray just getting activated immediately now. Cool. So Paras count falls down. Tailwind peters out. Maybe I should just click Make It Rain there, but okay, I mean, Weavile shouldn't have Protect then, right? It's Knockoff, Fake Out, Ice Shard, and probably like Triple Axle. And Primarina doesn't have an item at this point, so I think we should be able to hang on here. I think just going for Power Gem and Hyper Voice here is fine. Yep, they go for Knockoff on the Gholdengo. That's fine. Volcarona could Giga Drain us, but we should survive Giga Drain. And then Hyper Voice actually just gets the double KO here, I think. Cool. Yeah, beautiful. Primarina being especially bulky is awesome, and Hyper Voice is actually not a knockout onto Volcarona despite the boost. Wow, that's impressive. But that's fine. 2 turns of Perish left. And at this point, you're not knocking out the Ursaluna either, right? So I can just attack with both Pokemon this turn and then just protect on the last turn of Parasong. So we didn't necessarily need it in this game, but because I had such a big lead, I figured it was always pretty safe to go for, right? So we can just Hyper Voice here. Double Hyper Voice. Yeah, they end up forfeiting. So, nice. I think what was really pivotal in this game was correctly going with the Ribombee plus Gholdengo, because, yeah, I think if I had tried to go with Gothitelle and they have Ghost Terra on Mousehold, it gets really scary really quickly, because I just can't really deny the Rage Fist beat-up combo, and I think that's so threatening into our team composition. So, fortunately, we saw exactly the lead that we were hoping to see. We were able to crush it, and then the Fake Tears was so good on the Ribombee to catch the Annihilate off guard and just get a double knockout. Okay, we have an opposing Primarina here with Rillaboom, Gholdengo, Hisuian Arcanine, Alolan Ninetales, and Garchomp. I think I prefer the Ribombee route here. They have Rilla with Fake Out, but like Ribombee, Gholdengo, I think is still just so effective. I could go Ribombee, Primarina. Instin's actually not terrible for us here. Like, even with Clear Amulet Garchomp, it gives us a resist into Gholdengo, Intimidate into Rilla, and Hisuian Arc. But, I don't know. I think Ribombee, Ursaluna, Primarina, and Gholdengo still feels really strong. I think in this one, though, I might want to try Ribombee, Ursaluna with Primarina and Gholdengo in the back. And the main reason for this is because they could lead their Gholdengo, which is obviously our Gholdengo will be pretty vulnerable to, whereas like Ursaluna here would just pressure it with Hyper Voice. With Earth Power. If we force the defensive Terra out of it, then we can Blood Moon or Hyper Voice if it's not Steel Terra. So, let's see. I think the other thing to think about here... Okay, they go with Ribombee, Primarina. Okay, well, we would have crushed it here with Gholdengo plus the... Yeah, the Gholdengo lead. But this is still fine, I think. I am just going to Tailwind here. Makes sense for them to Fake Out Hyper Voice turn 1. Honestly, in this position, I'm down to just Tailwind and Protect here. I just want to make sure we get Tailwind up. Okay, so Ursaluna protects. Yep, they fake out into us. Perfect. Ribombee sets up Tailwind. Excellent. Now they're probably hyper voicing. Yeah, fine by me. Cool. You get your throat spray. That's fine. You heal back as well. So now I have Fake Tears pressure. I think I lean towards going for Fake Tears onto Primarina, Terra, Ursaluna, and Hyper Voice. A fairly obvious play for them to make, though, would be to simply protect with Primarina and then Woodhammer into us. But I think even if they did that, it's fine. It's mainly just like not getting Fake Tears and the combo off. And I thought about just knocking out Rillaboom here, but I'm wondering like how scared is Primarina in this spot, right? They might feel comfortable thinking they'll be able to survive. Nice. They don't protect with Primarina. That's huge. Ribombee gets Fake Tears off. And here's Hyper Voice. But yeah, Ribombee Gholdengo would have just been better here into this lead. And look how much damage we do. Wow. Nice. Cool. If they go for Woodhammer, they're going to take a ton in recoil. We should survive as well. Yep. Nice. So now you can obviously Grassy Glide to finish off the Ursaluna. I can protect Ursaluna, obviously, and just go for Pollen Puff to maybe just knock out Rillaboom. I think one of the fun things about Ribombee is that your Pollen Puff actually does damage, too. I could also just switch Ursaluna out into Gholdengo, for example. They bring out Ninetales. Okay. Ninetales is out. Gholdengo is looking really powerful right now. You should glide into us. I don't mind just going for Pollen Puff here into Rillaboom and then protecting with the Ursaluna for more grassy terrain recovery. I could switch into Gholdengo, but I don't think it's really necessary. And by switching Gholdengo, I theoretically risk like a freeze, which would not feel great. Yep, they glide into Ursaluna. Perfect. Here's Pollen Puff from Ribombee. Nice, and it knocks out Rillaboom. Cool. So if they don't knock out Ribombee this turn, now I have the potential of going for side Pollen Puff to heal all the way back up, which is awesome. And they go for Aurora Veil. Okay, nice. So yeah, I think I can side Pollen Puff into Bloodmoon and just heal all the way back up. Since we're up 4-2 as well, the Perish Song win condition is also online right now. So their last one is Garchomp. Okay. Expect a Terra from this. We only have one turn of Tailwind left. I could think about switching here just to get Tailwind up again. I want to go for side Pollen Puff here into Bloodmoon on Ninetales. Because if Ninetales is Light Clay, for example, and we get a knockout here, the game is just over. I think if you're my opponent, you probably want to consider protecting or terroring. Garchomp, I think, definitely should terror in front of Ribombee. And I like side Pollen Puff here just because it covers for the options of them protecting. And I don't know what terror they are yet, right? So I don't want to like go for Moonblast and just waste an attack into Garchomp. So, yep, there's the Terra. Maybe Terra Steel. Makes sense. Cool. Now my question is whether or not you're sashed on the Ninetales. Because I think one other option we could have gone for was to just double up onto the Ninetales with Moonblast plus the Bloodmoon instead of healing Ursaluna. Light Clay is certainly an option on this Pokemon. Oh, they're actually bulky enough to survive anyway. Okay. That's impressive. Dragon Claw into us here. Nice. And then Blizzard. No, Freeze Dry, actually. Okay. We get crit. It's a little unfortunate, but it's okay. Okay. No Tailwind anymore. I can now bring out the Primarina. It is scary because they have Freeze Dry into us. Like Freeze Dry, Earthquake. I guess if you Earthquake, though, you would KO yourself, right? Gholdengo should survive Earthquake. Like here I lean towards Perish Song and Protect. Because we Perish Song, if Primarina survives the turn, then the next turn we Protect, switch the Ursaluna out into Gholdengo. Yeah. And then bring Ursaluna back out. Hyper Voice may have been okay here as well. Like Hyper Voice Earth Power. I wonder if that actually was the better line to take. Let's see. Cool, they Dragon Claw me. We should survive Freeze Dry here. So then what I can do is, yeah, just make the pivot into Gholdengo next turn. Yep. So as long as we don't get frozen here, crit. Oh, that barely does anything. Nice. Oh, that sucks. Okay. Spoke it into existence. I think, I don't know, the turn where I healed Ursaluna, I probably could have just doubled up onto the Ninetales, but I was thinking maybe Ninetales wants to go for a Protect in that position. That's the main turn that I'm thinking about in this game. Also, if I had just led Gholdengo, like, they didn't even bring their Gholdengo in this one, so Ribombee Gholdengo as a lead would have worked out perfectly fine for me. So, like, even if we lose this, we still had plenty of ways to win outside of bad luck. It is just a little unfortunate, though. I will Hyper Voice here. Double Hyper Voice. Okay, they go for Stomping, which is smart. That would cover for a switching into Gholdengo. Ursaluna does survive. Yeah, they double up onto that slot since I protected, which makes sense. With Stomping, you can just Freeze Dry Stomping into Specs Gholdengo. You stay frozen. Yeah, unfortunately, Freeze is just, like, one of the hardest statuses. I mean, probably the hardest status in VGC, just because, like, it's so random. If we had gotten Perish Song off last turn, then, you know, Primarina is still pretty healthy. I would have been able to swap the Ursaluna out into the Gholdengo. Gholdengo would faint. Actually, maybe I would just stay in. It wasn't a guaranteed victory yet anyway, I suppose. They could still mess this up, too. Hyper Voice, Shadow Ball. If, like, they split their damage here and both Pokemon somehow survive. Oh. Okay. That's what we're going for. Yeah. That's unfortunate. I think I should have just doubled up onto the Ninetale slot, though. So I think this game is a really good example of one in which, sure, I got unlucky, but there were still plenty of things I could have done better, and so I want to focus on the things that were in my control rather than the things that weren't in my control. I already pointed it out throughout the battle, but two things that really stick in my mind are doubling up onto Alola Ninetales when I went for Side Pollen Puff to heal up. I thought Blood Moon would knock out Alola Ninetales, but since Sash is a fairly common item on that Pokemon anyway, it would have been better, I think, to just go for Moonblast plus Blood Moon. I was worried, of course, about them protecting that turn, so I wanted to heal and kind of hedge for that, but that was one potential option. And then the second, of course, is leading Gholdengo instead of Ursaluna Bloodmoon. I led with the Ursaluna because I was worried about like a Garchomp Gholdengo lead from their end, especially without knowing the item on their Gholdengo. I'd often feel forced to go for something like Tailwind and then Shadow Ball, for example. But then if their Gholdengo had Protect, they could Protect and then just go for Stomping Tantrum onto my Gholdengo, which would have been really scary. I think another play I could have gone for was the turn that they click Grassy Glide into my Ursaluna. I could have switched Ursaluna out into Gholdengo. I was talking about at that point, I did want the recovery, and as you saw, the recovery actually mattered since it allowed me to survive attacks later on, but that would have allowed me to at least position it in Gholdengo a little bit better rather than just have it come out and not do very much, right? And so those are all things that I think I could have done better. Of course, if the freeze doesn't happen, I think we're in very good shape and probably win that game as well, but the reality is I let my opponent have the chance to get a freeze, and Alola Ninetales is one of the best Pokemon in the format to potentially freeze you thanks to both having access to Freeze Dry and Blizzard, right? So even when you get unlucky in your losses, you should still constantly evaluate what are things that I could have done outside of that that would have prevented the luck maybe outright. And so, yeah. Okay, we've got Murkrow, Gholdengo, Annihilate, Hisuian Samurott, Sylveon, and the Ursaluna Bloodmoon. This is interesting. I'm actually leaning towards the Trick Room mode with Gothitelle. Mainly because Gholdengo here is actually threatened by a fair bit from their team. Especially the Hisuian Samurott. Could be Scarf, Final Gambit, Annihilate, right? Interesting. Like, I want to set up Trick Room and ideally sweep under Trick Room. I think, like, Primarina is very good as a sweeper into them under Trick Room. So I'm thinking of leading Gothitelle Primarina just immediately. Ursaluna in the back. And then Gholdengo. I think Instinct could be brought here as well, but I'm not sure it's necessary. I'd say my main fear here is the... Like, I want them to lead Murkrow here, ideally, because we have Mentorb on Gothitelle. So, like, with Mentorb and Water Terra, like, let's say they go with something like Murkrow plus the Gholdengo. Murkrow Samurott, that's also fine. Cool. Yeah, I think this is great, because I can just Terra immediately and Trick Room. And I think I'll go for Hyper Voice here, because I could see Samurott going for a Protect or a Terra. So I might as well get my Throat Spray online first. Okay, they're not going to Terra here. I also think I could have just gone for Fake Out into Hyper Voice, but then the problem is if you're Taunt on Murkrow, you can get rid of my Mentorb, and then the second turn you just deny me Trick Room. Since I have Mentorb online right now, I think it's best to just straight up go for it. Okay, I go for Sunny Day, so obviously reduces Hyper Voice damage, but that's fine. Ceaseless Edge, yeah. Cool. That sets up spikes. Now we get Hyper Voice. Great. Throat Spray is online now. Perfect. The main thing to think about is that Murkrow obviously could have Quash. But that's okay. What do I want to do with Gothitelle right now? I think we could switch it out. But obviously then whatever's switching in would eat up Spikes damage. I don't mind going for Psychic on a Samurott and Moonblast to cover for it Terraing. Okay, no Terra. Nice. Moonblast just KOs them. Sweet. I mean, this is the beautiful thing about having this lead, right? Like, I love being able to trap in Murkrow here because that's just not going to offer very much offensive pressure. But yeah, the Psychic there was just a cover for a Terra. They do have Brave Bird here on Murkrow, so they'll be able to deal some meaningful damage on a Primarina. But Brave Bird isn't shocking, right? That, like, if you want to run an offensive attack on Murkrow, you either decide between Brave Bird or Foul Play. They bring Gholdengo out now. Okay. I wonder if it's Nasty Plot. One thing to think about is that Gholdengo is immune to... Gholdengo is immune to Perish Song, so we actually can't win with the Perish Song endgame as easily, but that's okay. If they have Quash now, it makes sense to click Quash into this, and then like Shadow Ball or Make It Rain. I think I don't want either of the Pokemon in the back to take damage. So I'm happy to actually just Psychic into Gholdengo and Moonblast into Murkrow. Okay, they're going to go for a Terra here, which makes me think it's going to be Steel Terra, and then you just go for Quash, Make It Rain. Yep. Critically, though, this means that you can't switch out the Gholdengo anymore. Oh, that's cool. Okay, they go for Haze to get rid of my special attack boost on Primarina. Cool. Moonblast should still KO them, though. Beautiful. Okay, so we're up 4-2 now. Gothitelle Psychic. And now, obviously, Gholdengo is at risk of just getting KO'd by Earth Power from what I have in the back. And they just click Steel Terra, Make It Rain. Totally fine by me. Cool. Primarina faints, but now it's a free switch into... It was a crit, but I'm sure that didn't matter. Free switching into Ursaluna Bloodmoon now. Great. Yeah, I think the main thing I wanted to be wary of here is that they had their own Tailwind, so I felt like Trick Room was a lot more effective of a strategy to use. And they bring out Annihilate. Okay, great. That's just weak to Psychic. I wouldn't be surprised if they're just Specs Gholdengo here and Scarf Annihilate. 2 turns of Trick Room left. I think it's fine to just Psychic into the Annihilate slot and Earth Power into the Gholdengo slot. Even if one slot protects and the other like survives, I think it's still fine because we have one more turn of Trick Room. But neither protect here, so I think that should just win us the game. Nice. Earth Power KOs Gholdengo. Beautiful. Let's see what they go for. Close combat. Drain Punch. Okay. That's fine. Drain Punch. Now it's the last turn of Trick Room. Are you leftovers? No. Interesting. Okay, well I can just Psychic now. And I'm going to go for Hyper Voice here because if they have Protect. Okay, yeah, they don't have Protect. But basically, like, I think Psychic plus Hyper Voice gets the KO anyway. So, of course, I could go for Bloodmoon. But let's say they did have Protect. Then, oh, they're Assault Vested, aren't they? That's got to be AV. Yeah, Assault Vest would make so much sense here. Okay. So I was, like, wondering how they took Psychic that well. But anyway, the logic behind going for Hyper Voice there is that they did have Protect. Then I pressure you with Bloodmoon immediately next turn, right? Plus, to be honest, I thought Psychic plus Hyper Voice would just get the KO out right there. Yeah. But it's fine, because Annihilate does not have any spread moves here, and you're not going to heal back enough to survive the turn. So, you can Rage Fist KO Gholdengo, but then Psychic will just finish off the Annihilate. So, it doesn't really matter how much HP you win a game with. Yeah, they just Drain Punch in a Gothitelle. Cool. Yeah, like, it doesn't matter how much HP you win the game with as long as you win the game, right? But the Annihilate was actually really interesting here. I do think, like, Pokemon that are really specially defensive can be a little bit scary for this team because almost all your damage is special. Incineroar is the only physical attacker on the team. So, like, a really well-protected special attacker can be a specially defensive Pokemon can be a huge problem. But yeah, I think the reality is in this game, like, Murkrow wasn't able to do too much for our opponent, and by trapping it in, my opponent only really had one offensive option out on the field at any given point, which was obviously quite good for us. So yeah. Also, we saw the Steel Terra. Yeah, I was curious what Terra Samurott would have been, because I think if Samurott went for a Terra, maybe it could have given me some more issues. But I think fundamentally, Gothitelle plus Primarina just ended up being a really solid lead where we were able to trap 2 Pokemon that weren't super scary against us in Once I had Water Terra the Gothitelle, and then we just had so much offense as well. Nice. This is the Toxicroak team that I just featured on the channel. So if you want to see me use this team, check out the video link down in the description below. It's a really fun team that has so much offense between Pelipper, Assault Vest, Archaladon, Choice Band on the Basket Legion, as well as Clear Amulet Toxicroak. So, what happened when I went up against it with this team? I think it was what, like Pelipper, Basket Legion into Ursaluna Gothitelle, Hurricane, Wave Crash. Sorry, Weather Ball, Wave Crash doubled up into... Maybe I will go Incin in this one just to pressure Fake Out onto a Pelipper and get Trick Room up. Yeah, Ribombee is scary to bring here, and I think Basket Legion is a pretty huge problem. Okay, I think I'm going to go Incin Goth here. Ursaluna in the back. Primarina 4th. But I think the opposing team is really scary because I think Basket Legion just puts on so much offensive pressure. Like, Wave Crash is a 2-hit knockout onto everything in Rain and Water Terra, right? One of the interesting things about Incineroar is that it also does have Protect and Grass Terra. So, like, let's say they lead Pelipper plus Basket Legion. Turn 1's already interesting because I have Fake Out pressure onto the Pelipper. Archaladon Basket Legion. Okay. I don't mind this. Okay. The Intimidate here is a really big deal. I have Fake Out, but I could also just hard switch turn 1. Like, I'm leaning into hard switch. If I Fake Out this, I give it a defense boost, but I guess that doesn't actually matter too much. And I mainly brought Instant just to deal with Basculegion in this matchup. So actually, I'm thinking maybe we just go for Fake Out into Trick Room. Okay, neither Protect Terra. Basculegion, of course, can switch because it's Ghost typing. Okay, they just flip turn. That's fine. Nice. So the good thing is now I can use the Incineroar to just knock off into the Archaludon. This is where if you have a Mungus, it'd be a really good switch in. If it's a Mungus, what I would probably need to do is Grass Terra the Incineroar and knock off. But it's Pelipper, which I'm okay seeing here. Okay. Okay, flinch. Everything gets set up. Okay. Now I can go for knockoff into Archaludon. I think the main awkward thing is what I want to do with Gothitelle this turn. I think I might actually just Psychic to break Pelipper's Focus Sash. Because you can't knock out both of my Pokemon here simultaneously, I think. And I don't care about stamina boosts onto the Archaludon. In fact, I kind of want Instant to faint sooner than later. Ooh, knockoff crits and just does so much damage. Wow. Cool. Okay, we get rid of AV. There's Psychic into Pelipper. Nice, that does so much. Oh, they actually go for Draco here. Okay. Gothitelle survives. Nice. Weather Ball into Instant. I want this to KO us. I want the free switching. Beautiful. Perfect. The question now is who would I rather go out into? Ursaluna or Primarina? Because we can just Psychic to finish off the Pelipper. I mean, Primarina, if I get it, I can thread in with Hyper Voice. But they could, of course... Oh, they don't have Wide Guard on that team. I don't know if Hyper Voice and Rain KOs Archaludon, though. What would their last one be? Toxicroak, Incin? Probably Incin? Or Amoonguss. Amoonguss actually makes the most sense out of all of those. They should protect the Pelipper this turn, in my opinion. Okay. I'll bring out Primarina. Double check the field state. 3 turns of Trick Room and Rain. I lean towards double protecting this turn to bait out a protect from Pelipper, then double knockout, then Perish Song. But I think Pelipper protecting here isn't even that much of an issue for me. So I think it's actually maybe fine to just attack here. Move less than Psychic. Yep, they do go for the protect. Okay. We knock out Archaludon. We're up now. Probably can't switch out still. I guess you could just bring Basculegion out right now. It is a Amoonguss in the back. Okay. I think I don't mind that, though. I mean, you can Spore one slot, right? But you can't knock out both. Wait, alternatively, I think we should consider just Parasonging right now. Who would you Spore into? I'd Spore Gothitelle, personally. 2 turns of Trick Room and Rain. Well, I want to go for Parasong and Protect right now, I think. It was the absolute right decision for them to bring out Amoonguss into this mode. This is where Gholdengo for me would have, I think, been pretty good. Nice. They Spore into Gothitelle. That's huge. Okay, we get Parasong now. And that activates Throat Spray, which is pretty cool. And they Hurricane into Goth. Beautiful. Nice. Okay, so that's obviously really good for us here. Okay. We're stalling out the rain as well, which is huge. Let's see. We still have Terra available. This is Sludge Bomb Amoonguss. It's the last turn of Trick Room right now, so you probably want to Spore, but I could Psychic and Moonblast Pelipper right now. The thing is, I almost don't want to, like, KO them, but I also don't want them to be able to switch. And if I get a knockout, then the Amoonguss is guaranteed to faint, basically, soon. Just thinking whether or not I should Dragon Terra this. Or normal Terra this. I think Dragon Terra Primarina is fine here. Blast, Psychic. That was close. Okay. And so the idea here is, like, let's say you Spore one of my 2 slots. That's okay. If they, by the way, commit to Last Respects on the Basculegion with Choice Band, Ursaluna just wins because it is immune to it. Oh. The Psychic didn't go through. Okay, but they went for Side Pollen Pup, which is fine. Because I think Moonblast KOs anyway. But that should have been Psychic. Yeah. Okay, cool. And so now this has worked out perfectly where rain stops. Yeah. What could have been scary there is obviously if they went for Spore into the Primarina. What Psychic covers for is for Pelipper to not be able to protect. I thought I got it off, but yeah, I think I mean, it was like literally in the last second, so evidently not. But anyway, now it's like, yeah, if you click Last Respects, Ursaluna just wins, so you have to lock into a Water type attack. 2 turns. So what would I prefer? I actually don't mind clicking Parasong again right now, I think. Oh, actually, no, because Primarina is going to faint too, right? Yeah, we're down to 2 turns now. This game still isn't won 100% yet. I'd probably Wave Crash Gothitelle, Spore into Primarina, personally. Okay, Moonblast Protect. Another turn where I'm getting really low, which is getting a little scary, so I'm going to be careful here. Oh, cool. They click Last Respects. Okay, the game's just over then, actually, because of Ursaluna. I was really hoping to bait that out, so I'm very happy to see that. Because now, yeah, Ursaluna just wins. This is one of the key strengths in not revealing your final Pokemon all the way until the end. And this is like one of the downsides of using a choice Pokemon in the late game when you have to lock into a move. Yeah, beautiful. Perfect. And now I can just go for Protect here. Psychic into Amoonguss. Doesn't really end up mattering because, yeah, like Amoonguss will feint from Parasong, Gothitelle will feint from Parasong, and then it's just Ursaluna against a Last Respects locked Basculegion. Like, I think if my opponent had stayed in, or sorry, had just clicked Wave Crash, like Primarina can tank it, especially with no more rain anymore, but it's still really scary, right? Yeah, I think like Amoonguss, when I had used the Rain Team, was a Pokemon I didn't bring very frequently, but it's very good into the Trick Room matchup since like we don't have anything that can actually take Spore if I commit to Gothitelle, Ursaluna, Primarina, and Incineroar. Goldingo would be what you would need to bring here. So Last Respects KOs Gothitelle, but with them being choice locked, yeah, the game's just over. Cool. Just tries to Spore us. Yep. And then now Parasong finishes off Amoonguss. Perfect. I really like how my opponent approached this game, though, I think. Like, really strong lead with Basculegion Archaludon, and then, like, Peli Amoonguss were absolutely the right 2 to bring as well. So, now I can just Bloodmoon. And their choice band locked. So, unless they change the team here and, like, have a different item, we should be good. But I think it should be choice band, because without ban, I don't think Primarina was fainting to that last respects. And normally with Basket Legion, you either want like a choice item or something like a Life Orb, for example. So, yeah. I think the main interesting thing here is that you could theoretically bring in Gholdengo to take Amoonguss' Spore, but like Gholdengo is still kind of spooky to bring, because you don't necessarily want to click Make It Rain against a lot of their team. They do, like, Thunderbolt on Gholdengo is the main reason I'd consider bringing it, I think. But, yeah. I could have also thought about the Ribombee approach, but I don't know. I don't really love Ribombee when, like, Basket Legion is just, like, so fast, and even if I set up Tailwind, I'm still getting outsped by it. So I think the Trick Room approach is the right way to go. But, yeah, that endgame was pretty scary. Like, I was timing out, right, and close to timing out on another turn because I didn't, like, see what the absolute right play was immediately. And I was trying to, like, work through all the different options, and I was thinking, okay, like, how do we beat Basket Legion if it does commit to, you know, Water Terra Wave Crash from that point onwards in the game? Because with Water Terra Wave Crash, you're still doing significant damage to us, and then you have Spore Pressure as well. We had +1 Moonblast. I don't know, because I think, like, maybe what I could have gone for was Moonblast plus Psychic. And the other thing I was trying to work through is that, like, I'm going to end up fainting from my own Parasong pretty soon as well, right? Which is really scary, because let's say you do commit to Wave Crash, and then I end up fainting from Parasong, then my Ursaluna comes out, and you just win the game by clicking Wave Crash. So, fortunately, our opponent getting baited into clicking the Last Respects because they didn't want to deal with the resistance of Primarina, ended up securing the game for us immediately, but that was still really tough. Okay, we are up against T-Tar, Exca, Indeedee, Armarouge, Dondozo, Tatsu. I think this is a fairly popular rental, and basically what makes it so powerful is that you just have 3 very clear duos, right? You just pick 2 of the 3 most of the times, although of course you get fancy and split up the pieces. Primarina with Parasong is really valuable into Dondozo, in my opinion. And I think we definitely want to... I want to go the Gothitelle approach here, because I think limiting switching is a really big deal here. The main thing I have to worry about if I lead Gothitelle is probably a Tyranitar Excadrill lead. But I think Incineroar is quite good, so Incin, Goth, Primarina as a trio. What do I want as the last one? I think probably Ursaluna. Yeah. I don't love Ribombee here because of how fast Excadrill is. So even if I set up Tailwind, Excadrill is still outpacing my Pokemon. So Trick Room feels like a more natural mode to commit to. I think Instant plus Goth is really effective into a lot of their combos, right? And the thing with Dondozo Tatsugiri is, like, let's say you bring one of the 2 pieces. Well, it's not very easy to just combine, right? Because I'll have Gothitelle trapping you in. So, like, if you have Dondozo out on the field, right, I can just, like, try to KO the Dondozo before I get a knockout onto whatever's next to it so that you can't fuse with Tatsugiri. So let's see. T-Tar Exca. Okay, cool. Yep, that was the idea behind this lead. I think I can just fake out Trick Room. Psychic Flare Blitz Exca. Question is who I'd want to click fake out into. Yeah, I don't mind clicking fake out into Tyranitar here, I think. Because Instin's definitely going to survive a ground type attack. And Trick Room. I could see them protecting Excadrill here as well. Fake out Flare Blitz would have been another option into Exca. I also think I could play defensively and just, like, commit a Terra here immediately on turn 1. Like, I don't mind Excadrill clicking Earthquake or High Horsepower. Cool, we fake out Tyranitar. Yep, they just High Horsepower us. It's fine. Cool. Clinch. Great. This next turn, I think it's very likely that they just protect with the Excadrill. Attack with Tyranitar. I will still, however, go for Flare Blitz and Psychic here. Because what we want to do, ideally, is just pick up 2 quick knockouts and then click the Parasong to end the game, right? So even if X Control protects here, let's say you knock out my Incineroar, I just get a free switch into Ursaluna, right? Or Primarina, I can just Hyper Voice Psychic again. And they don't protect. Perfect. Having Flare Blitz on this Incineroar is actually a really big deal. I think one of the things is people often expect Flare Blitz to be dropped now. Since so few Incineroars were running Flare Blitz in Reg G. But Flare Blitz, yeah, is just obviously a really good offensive option here. So, nice. We get a quick knockout. We trapped in Tyranitar, which is huge. We go for knockoff. That's fine. We survive. Cool. Removes our Mentor. That's fine. I think, like, now, because this should be Assault Vest Tyranitar, what I can angle for is to just go, like, protect Gothitelle, knock off into Tyranitar, let them KO Incineroar, and then get a free switch into Ursaluna or Primarina and just click Hyper Voice or Earth Power. I think I would have preferred Instant just taking more damage there, so it was a nice knockoff target there. And both of my Pokemon are pretty low in HP, right? So I still have to be very careful here, but let's see what they bring out. Ooh, interesting. Okay, they did bring Dondozo into this one. Okay. Fine by me. How do I actually want to approach this? Rock Slide now probably comes out from Tyranitar. I want to go for knockoff into T-Tar. And protect with Gothitelle. Yeah, I mean, their back two is obviously, or their final one should be Tatsu. By going for knockoff here, then I get Ursaluna Bloodmoon in safely. Okay, they don't protect with the Dozo. Knockoff removes your Assault Vest. They're gonna Wave Crash into us, that's fine. Okay. Knock off into Gothitelle, yeah. Okay. 20 down to 9 HP. So I feign for one more turn of Sand. Bring up Primarina or Ursaluna. Bring out Ursaluna. They probably protect with the Dozo. Right, because otherwise you would faint, like, you have to worry about normal Terra Bloodmoon. I think I will bring out Ursa here. Two turns of Trick Room, which is huge, because what this means is I can... And 2 turns of Sandstorm, right? Yeah, so what I can do is normal Terra, in case they Wave Crash me. Earth Power into Tyranitar. Basically, what you want to do right now is you want to combine with Tatsugiri, right? So you definitely want Sand to finish off Gothitelle. Yeah, normal Terra, Earth Power to KO you, switch Gothitelle into Primarina. And the idea here is I'll let them combine with Tatsugiri, but it's okay because I'll have Fake Out plus Perish Song, which will just KO the Dondozo. And I'm going for normal Terra here just to cover for the option of Dondozo going for, like, not going for Protect here. Okay. But yeah, I think in this matchup, it's really important to conserve the Primarina. I would have loved to conserve Incineroar as well, because like with double Fake Out plus Perish Song, you can make it impossible for Dondozo to actually get an attack off. But I felt like I needed the Instant Gothitelle lead. Oh! They're gonna Terra Tyranitar to survive Earth Power. Okay. I think that's really smart. That makes sense, because there's no need to Terra anything else anyway, right? But they just end up Wave Crashing into us, okay. Nice play. I maybe should have thought about that option a bit more. Gonna get a low kick into us. That's really scary. Okay, Sand is Primarina, Tyranitar, or Primarina, Dozo, Ursaluna. Tyranitar, okay. That was a really good play. The fact that they were willing to just let their Dondozo faint to a Bloodmoon there and go for Terra is very impressive. So that was very nicely done. I do have Bloodmoon out available. I mean, I think they should switch into Tatsugiri at this point. You could switch into Tatsu and Earthquake, which is a big problem for me, I think. But I could see them... Would you ever Protect here? I think you should always switch into Tatsu. But you could switch into Tatsu and Protect. I can't just lose Ursaluna here either. That was such a good play by my opponent this last turn. I'm really impressed by that. If I had gone for Hyper Voice, things probably would have also been okay, but or Bloodmoon. Because I'm assuming Bloodmoon would have just knocked out Dondozo without the combination. So I went for Protect Parasong here. If they went for like Wave Crash into Ursaluna, I think they should just click Earthquake here, honestly. So yeah, I think we had like good tools to win this one, but I really, that was just such a good turn by my opponent, holding on to Terra like that. Because if they had gone for, like, Protect on Dozo and just, like, attack with Tyranitar, which is what I've expected, I think I'm just in such a commanding spot there. But yeah, this is really tough now. We get the Parasong off, but the question is... Like, the other problem is Tatsugiri doesn't even get affected by it, right? And I'm guessing they're just going to click Earthquake here. Oh, they did Wave Crash. Okay, that gives us a chance, I think. Sandstorm subsides. Okay. They should be clicking Earthquake, but maybe they're not because they're not confident it would knock out Ursaluna, which actually would be a fair assumption, I think. 3 turns of Parasong. This turn I can go for... I could try to double here. I want to switch Primarina out, I think. But it's risky because obviously they could Earthquake. Like Bloodmoon into you. Switch Primarina out into Gothitelle. That was such a good Flying Terror by my opponent. Really well done. And it's hard, right? Because it's like, would I really click Hyper Voice in that position? Okay, they do just Wave Crash again, yeah. So now I get Primarina out. I have Fake Out. But the thing is, I don't think Primarina wins the game for us. Which is the problem. If we had knocked out Tyranitar earlier, it would have. Yeah, I'm really impressed by my opponent having conviction to bring Dondozo and Tatsu even into Gothitelle and Incin. Really nicely done. Tatsugiri avoiding the Parasong is also not great for us. Fake out Moonblast, double Protect, but then you just have Tyranitar and Tatsugiri out. I'm always going to feign from Sand with the Gothitelle. Yeah, if I had like Incin plus Goth here, I could fake out fake out Trick Room. There would be a chance, but I don't really see how we can win. I mean, Tatsu could miss its attacks, and I guess Primarina does wall it fairly well. Now I can double Protect. But yeah, the turn where they just attacked with Dondozo and went Flying Terra was huge. It was really well done. It was mainly the Flying Terra that caught me off guard. Yeah, so they go for Earthquake there, which makes sense. But the problem is now you can just Rock Slide Muddy Water, I think. I guess it's winnable if they miss their attacks. Like if Rock Slide... Oh, no, you don't even need a Rock Slide. You can just Terra Blast, I think. Yeah. So Dozo now faints. I think in this game, honestly, going for Terra with Incineroar is probably correct, because a Terra Incin just means I survive a lot longer, which means I can Psycho and Fake Out. Like, I didn't have the foresight to recognize that in the beginning of this game, but now that I think about it, I think that's the right play. Because it's like normal Terra Ursaluna wasn't, well, I guess it pressured Dondozo with the knockout, so it's not like completely useless, but yeah. Maybe Moonblast here. And I should have never get Trick Room up here, but if they like double missed, for example. But you should just Terra Blast and Dragon Pulse here, I think. Oh, actually, no. If you Terra Blast Dragon Pulse, I survive Terra Blast, Moonblast KOs Tyranitar, then I would actually end up winning. So, like, the right play here is, I think, Muddy Water plus Terra Blast. Yes, you can miss, but Gothitelle's always fainting after this turn anyway, so you should lock into a move that hits Primarina. Yeah, nicely done. I think my opponent played this really well. Accuracy drop, okay. But yeah, I think if I were to replay this, I actually do think going for Grass Terra immediately with Incin is worth it. Yeah, and Terra Blast. Really nice find with the Flying Terra and the Wave Crash Terra Blast turn. That was what won my opponent the game, in my opinion. Primarina actually did hang on. Let's see if Moonblast would knock out Tyranitar. Yeah, hung on anyway. Okay. So, very well done. We had the tools to win this one for sure. I think it's just more that, like, I haven't played against this version of Dozo. It's my first time playing against it. And so, with this team in particular, I think, yeah, like, allowing Incineroar to survive for a lot longer, I think, is actually really important in being able to, like, be a huge nuisance to Dondozo. So, if I were to play this game again, I actually would commit Grass Terra to Incineroar right away on turn 1 of the game, just because it makes it so much harder for my opponent to deal with, right? Because if Incin sticks around for a lot longer, then I have double Fake Out pressure, which makes it that much harder for my opponent, and I can intimidate my opponent as well. So, yeah. But then, of course, the other play I could have gone for, the turn that they went for the Flying Terra and just attacked with Dondozo, was just straight up go for Bloodmoon immediately onto the Dondozo slot, since Dondozo has no bulk on that team. Okay, we've got Basculegion, Ursaluna Bloodmoon, Dusclops, Como Serena, and Incineroar. Very much feels like a Trick Room team to me here. I think what's interesting is Ribombee plus Gholdengo, because even though we're up against potential Trick Room, this means that I can just Fake Tears combo into everything early on, which feels really strong. Primarina looks really good here. And then for the last one, oh, Gothitelle's interesting for Paris Trap. But Dusclops and Basculegion both can switch out of the trap, so I'm not sure I like that as much. I think I lean towards Ursaluna. It's interesting because I'm actually going with a pretty speedy mode here with the Pokemon that I'm picking. But I think that it makes sense because Gholdengo exerts so much offensive pressure, and with your inability to Fake Out either Ribombee or Gholdengo, or I should say flinch with Fake Out, we'll be able to deal massive amounts of damage right away from turn 1, right? Like, if they want to set up Trick Room, normally you'd probably lead, like, Incin plus Dusclops. So let's see. Okay, Dusclops Serena. Totally okay with that. Now, the thing is, Dusclops normally does not carry Protect. So what I think we can get away with is just Fake Tears turn 1. Steal Terra. Make it rain. I just love this lead so much on this team because it's immune to Fake Out, right? Like, I think the other tempting lead would probably be Ribombee plus Ursaluna Bloodmoon. You could also go Ribombee Primarina. All three are viable. But I think Gholdengo is just the strongest out of those three. And it's also the fastest out of the three, right? So you don't necessarily need Tailwind as much. So my main question here is whether or not Dusclops has a defensive Terra that allows them to survive. Like, my opponent's best bet right now would be like protecting Serena, defensive Terra, Dusclops into something that resists Steel. But if you're my opponent, you also might be worried about just Shadow Ball. So I think I also contemplated Fake Tears into Shadow Ball immediately. Okay, no Terra. Sweet. So we get Fake Tears onto Dusclops, no Protect. And here's Steel Terra, make it rain. I think this should just be a double KO unless you're focused Sash Serena. It is Sash Serena. Whoa. Okay. You don't see that every day. People often like to run like Wide Lens for triple Axle, Assault Vest. That was sick. They went for low kick, expecting Terra. It gets a critical hit onto us, which is fine. I can honestly just side Pollen Puff now, right? Like, what do you go into? I feel like their team is pretty slow. It's going to be Basket Legion, okay? I wonder if I should actually switch out Gholdengo right now. I don't expect Basket Legion to be faster than us, but I guess theoretically it could be a Choice Scarf variant. Why not, though? Like, at this point, we are pretty close to a Primarina Parasong endgame, right? So here, why not go for Tailwind? Plus make it rain. Okay, Serena switches. Incin, maybe? Oh, Ursaluna, okay. Fine by me. No Terra from the Basket Legion, so, I mean, this Make It Rain is still really going to hurt them. Cool. Look how much damage that does, even at -1. Wow. And they'll go for Flip Turn here to knock us out. Okay, that's totally fine by me. We've set up Tailwind now, right? So I just get a free switch in into... I mean, the question is whether or not I'd go into Primarina or Ursaluna. With Tailwind set up now, I think it's free to just click Hyper Voice with Ursaluna. Yeah, so they bring out Serena. Cool. We can bring out Ursaluna. And I think with us having Tailwind and speed control, there's not much my opponent can do. Like, I thought basically, based on team preview, my opponent needed to set up Trick Room, and the only lead that is, like, super strong in setting up Trick Room is Incineroar plus Dusclops, but Gholdengo plus the Ribombee is the perfect counter to that, basically, because I don't care for your Fake Out from Dusclops, right? So, yeah, we can just go for Moonblast into Ursaluna and Hyper Voice here. Okay, Ursaluna protects, that's fine. Serena doesn't protect, so Moonblast goes into the protect. And I think, yeah, Choice Specs Gholdengo is just so powerful in this format, where if you mislead against it, or if, like, you don't have protect into it, it just puts in so much work. I mean, it's really nice that my opponent was able to predict the Steel Terror on turn 1, just go for low kick. But even then, you know, with the critical hit, we still didn't even feint to it. So, yeah. Okay, they're down to Basket Legion plus Ursaluna. Cool. Happy to just Moonblast into Ursaluna here and Bloodmoon into Basket Legion. They haven't Terra'd yet, but even with Terra, I don't know how that can save them at this point on in the game, with Primarina waiting in the back. Okay, so here's the Terra. Let's see, we're just going to Terra. Basket Legion, makes sense, into water. Okay. Well, if you're Choice Band Aqua Jet, that's probably their best bet at this point. But then Primarina just wins. Yep, and Ursaluna goes for the double. Makes sense. That's why I wanted to split my damage here. They are going to go for Aqua Jet. Yeah, that doesn't kill Ursaluna anyway. Cool. So Moonblast here should secure the knockout. Beautiful. Ursaluna faints. And Bloodmoon should just get the knockout into Basket Legion now. So, yeah, I think, like, if your goal is to set up Trick Room, it's really valuable to have multiple tools that can help the Trick Room setter successfully get it, right? And so, for example, Fake Out, Redirection are both really popular. That's why you see things like Indie being used so frequently. Mouse Hold is often used on Trick Room compositions as well. But in this one, it felt like there was just very little to threaten Ribombee plus the Gholdengo, and it was able to just put in a lot of offense right away from turn 1. Okay, we've got Hisuian Decidueye here, as well as Primarina, Talonflame, Dragapult, Gholdengo, and Kingambit. Oh, this is really scary. Dual Ghosts and Gambit is not a fun combo. I mean, normally I'd want to go with Gothitelle. My problem with Gothitelle is the number of ghost types we're running into, right? What if I go with Ribombee? I mean, Ribombee is good if they don't lead Talonflame. Talonflame Gambit, I think, is a really solid lead by them. I think I'm going to try Ribombee or Ursaluna. I feel like I should be bringing Incin into this matchup. I mean, maybe we drop Gholdengo here. So Incin Primarina. I don't know. I think like Goth feels really awkward to bring in this one, since they have Double Ghost and King Gambit. Like against King Gambit, I literally just can't do anything with Goth other than trap Gambit in, but that's basically it. Gambit forces a Terra out of us. Like, it's just a very bad matchup for Goth in my opinion. Let's see. I think with Ribombee, if they don't lead Talonflame, have a lot of offensive pressure. It is Talonflame. Talonflame Gholdengo though, okay. Honestly, the play I lean towards is switching this out into Incin turn 1 and then protecting. Because Ribombee's not really going to do too much here other than set up Tailwind from our own end, but like setting up Tailwind doesn't really help us because they're just going to be faster anyway. Incin plus Goth would have been a decent lead here, I guess. Where I could like Water Terra turn 1, knock off into Gholdengo and just Trick Room, but Incin Goth I didn't feel very comfortable into a fair bit of their team. Hopefully this is just Steel Terra Gholdengo, because if so, their Make It Rain next turn is going to be a lot less powerful, and I can just click Fake Out into it. Okay, nice. This is not bad then. Cool. Yeah, we protect. This is a pretty safe play from our end to make, I think. We'll want to use Ribombee in the late game now. Yeah, they Tailwind, which is fine. So we're looking to stagger Tailwind, basically like KO Talonflame before they can get a second Tailwind up, but right now leaving it on the field actually isn't too bad. We should expect Cobra Click on that. Okay, Incin takes a good chunk there. No Life Orb. I mean, they don't have a switch it into Fake Out plus Earth Power, so I think I'll just go for that right now. Nice, and they don't switch. That's huge. Okay, flinch. Yep, they just Brave Bird us, but you're intimidated. Still does a decent amount, honestly, though. That's because they're Life Orb. That makes sense. They flinch with Gholdengo. And we get Earth Power. Perfect. Okay, not bad, not bad. We're up 4-3. We've got Primarina. We got rid of their Terra as well, but they still have, obviously, a ton of offense. The good thing is that Talonflame's just not super scary right now, but whatever comes out, right? Brave Bird plus an attack can knock out the Ursaluna. Hisui and Decidueye, honestly, right now looks really good into us. This is where if I had Gothitelle, maybe it would have been a good Pokemon to bring out, but Goth just felt so bad into Double Ghost and King Gambit. There's Decidueye, okay. Very cool. So, Grass Fighting. We have Flare Blitz. I do have Protect on Incin. Could switch Ribombee in. Terra Primarina is probably the right course of action. I mean, I think here I don't mind going for Flare Blitz and Bloodmoon, honestly, into Decidueye. Okay, they just Brave Bird us. That's fine. Yep, we survive. Nice. You take more recoil. Cool. And they just triple arrows as well. Pew pew. Nice. That's a crit, but that's fine. We get Flare Blitz now. Nice, and that's a one-hit knockout into Decidueye. Cool. Basically, the logic behind that turn is, like, even though Decidueye is a huge offensive threat to our team, you can only knock out one Pokemon that turn, right? Since -1 Life Orb Brave Bird isn't knocking out either slot. So I'm willing to trade one of the Pokemon for Decidueye. What I don't want to do is like switch something and then let the other Pokemon get knocked out. So now we can bring out Primarina. Yep, Gambit's waiting in the back. That makes sense. Okay. Primarina comes in. They can Brave Bird, but Brave Bird still shouldn't knock us out. No need to Terra here. Iron Head Brave Bird, I don't even think knocks out Primarina. I think I'm happy to just Flare Blitz King Gambit and Hyper Voice here. No need to get fancy. Okay, they Brave Bird into Incin, which we survive. Beautiful. Citrus was so nice here. Talonflame's gotten a lot of value from these Brave Birds. They're going to go for Iron Head. Need a flinch here. Without a flinch, the game's just over. Flare Blitz comes out. And actually just gets a one-hit knockout on a King Gambit. So Incineroar is a huge offensive Pokemon for us. And yeah, having that Flare Blitz was a really big deal as well. Okay, Instant Feints, but yeah, Ribombee with Focus Sash now can tank a Brave Bird and then just retaliate back with Moonblast. We do end up flinching though, okay. Tailwind peters out. So let's just bring out Ribombee now. And it'll be fun to end the game with Ribombee clicking an offensive attack. Yeah, we can just go for Moonblast now and Hyper Voice. Talonflame might honestly just feint from Recoil because they might just target Ribombee with Brave Bird. So you'd fate from Recoil plus Life Orb, I think. So, yep, we're down to Focus Sash now. Cool. I think the main thing was using this Ribombee as bait on turn 1, right? Like, my opponent, it looked like a very safe opportunity to just go Tailwind, Steel Terra, make it rain, but, like, we got them to Terra. Our Instant switched in, didn't really take very much damage in return, and we were able to put Gholdengo in a really tricky spot. So as soon as they committed to Terra, and with Talonflame out on the field, we knew that Earth Power was really, really safe to target with into that slot. Anyway, that's going to be it for this one, so thank you so much as always for joining me. It was really fun to feature a team with Ribombee, a Pokemon that I've barely seen in this format, and now I am really convinced about its power, and hopefully you are as well. This Pokemon has a ton of potential, and I think that it can unlock some really unique strategies. So yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more, and I'll see you all next time. All right, peace.